Hey everybody. Oh my god. Back to another movie review. I normally do this on Thursday, but I figured I'll do it early since I got the time. Uh Not much in terms of games. Even though I'm probably gonna hop into play some Overwatch at the very least tonight. But since until Final Fantasy VII Rebirth comes out, it's gonna be pretty light with terms of games, leaving me room to do some reviews. Normally it's on Thursdays, but I figured I'll handle it early because tomorrow I'm gonna spend most of the morning finally get my locks retwisted. So by the time I get home, I'm gonna rest up a bit and figure out what I'm gonna stream for tomorrow. It's probably just gonna be another game because it's gonna be a hot minute before I do another comic book review, because the next one is gonna be 50 issues. I'm not gonna just do part of it. So whatever I'm done, that's when we'll bring the next one out. But same thing will be for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrain season 1, because I forget how long Yu-Gi-Oh! Episodes tend to be in episodes. They usually span darn near 50 episodes. But it's brand new, not brand new series, but new to me because I haven't watched it until now, and I gotta absorb a lot of information because the other stuff I've watched like many times over the years before, and this is fresh. Just like the Jolene Joestar JoJo's Bizarre Adventure arc, that was pretty fresh to me, and it's like it's a lot of characters that aside from characters I've seen before or Jolene herself, I just can't retain their names like that. See it repeatedly, I'll probably get more used to it. But yeah, that's how I'm feeling right now. But so far, I'm enjoying it. But once I complete the first season, I'll come to you and give my overall thoughts, because it's a lot. But overall, I'm enjoying it. Definitely a far cry from what I've experienced with certain things in Zexal and certain things with Arc 5, but I'll get to it in the future. But anyway, I'm going to talk today about the movie What Happens in Vegas. I'm not sure anybody remember that movie. It came out in 2008, same year as Iron Man, if you can believe it. And this movie actually made some serious money, despite how it wasn't like the worst thing you will ever see, but it's definitely, I think, critical wise and maybe audience wise, it's like, yeah, that's why rom-coms typically have like terrible records in terms of box office draw. But this one actually made money. It had like a budget of 35 million and raked in at the box office at the time nearly 200 excuse me, nearly $220 million. I'm like, this, I expect at least break even, because considering it's Ashton Kutcher and Cameron Diaz, and they're very charming people. But it's like, really, at the very least you would just go, I know it can at least make his money back, maybe 40 or 50 million back at the box office. But over 200 million, it's like, wow, that should not have made that much money back. That is like, wow, that is just, sure. So anyway, like I said, it stars the director is Tom Vaughn. I thought he must have been related to Matthew Vaughn, but no, that's not the case. And written by Dana Fox. The movie stars Cameron Diaz as Joy McNally, Ashton Kutcher as Jack Fuller Jr., Rob Corddry as Jeffrey Hader Lewis, Lake Bell as Tony Tipper Saxon, Treat Williams as Jack Fuller Sr., Dennis Farina as Richard Dick Banger, Yes, that is a thing. Jason Sudeikis. And this is before we like knew Jason Sudeikis like that and realized how funny he is. Plays Mason, ex-boyfriend to Joy. Zach Galifianakis, before he was a thing, plays Dave the Bear, best friend to Jack and Jeffrey. Michelle Krusik as Chong, co-worker of Joy. Oh, and Tipper is Joy's best friend. Deirdre O'Connell as Mrs. Fuller, Jack Sr.'s wife. Christian Ritter as, you know, just a fling that happens to also work with Jack Jr. Queen Latifah as therapist Dr. Twitch. And we got Dennis Miller as Judge Whopper. The Whopper. I'm surprised nobody ever made that joke, but whatever. Anyways, this movie. Ass bleeder. What has 5 toes and is in your foot? What are you, the Riddler? My foot. Should have guessed that. Literally right there. Yeah, you might as well be the Riddler because he making these kind of riddles that is obvious, not so obvious. What do you rate it out of 10? I give it a fair 7.5 because points to the fact that I never heard that one before, honestly. Anyway, it's part of the continuation of like the Valentine's Day month. Speaking of, happy Valentine's Day to those out there. And you know what, side tangent here because I don't know what grinds my gears, but I get the point of it. The whole Galentine's Day for those single girls, it's like, you know, just celebrate with each other, and I get it. My cousin did that with her girlfriends, and it's like, God, that seems so. I hate to use the word desperate, but it just seems like, I get it. You don't want to be lonely because it's hard for single people, but it's like at the same time, y'all, you know, girls can. Oh well, girls can get easy sex. They can't get easy boyfriends. But it's just like Galentine's Day. And I was like, I would like to have like a girlfriend too to spend the holiday with, but also point of fact that Valentine's Day is super fucking commercialized. No freaking better than Christmas, but you know, it is what it is. But in regards to that, happy Valentine's Day to those out there. Hopefully I can entertain you guys if you're not out and about, or if you're single and you just want some bit of entertainment, and hopefully I can provide for you that and spend a decent Valentine's Day night with us together. And I'm just gonna admit it right here and now, even though I do a lot of movie reviews and comic book reviews and gamer reviews, things like that for the channel, it's gonna be a long while before I go see Madam Web. I'm not going to see it in the theaters. I'm more interested in Kraven the Hunter movie more so than I am with Madam freaking Web. And I like her as a concept, considering I grew up watching the Spider-Man animated series in the 90s, and she was better in that kind of role because it's kind of like how like certain Star Wars shows, everything needs to be a spinoff out of a spinoff, and it's like not every character needs their own thing. And Madam Web fits in the mold of good supporting character that's like a guide to the main hero. Nobody wants to follow Madam Web and her wild, crazy adventures. Same way I feel about Agatha Harkness. I don't give a fuck. Many people don't give a fuck. It's like, why do we need a show about these characters? They're fit in a supportive role. Let them stay there because nobody cares. It's like making a TV show about Luke Skywalker. Then we see this interesting bartender in a cantina one time, and everybody started going behind the scenes like, we need the studio go be like, oh wow, people, you know, find the bartender charming. Let's make a show about the bartender. And it's like, nobody gives a crap about bartender because he just serviced the thing that he was asked to do. He was just a very charming actor. Just put him in other roles and different things that you got outside of Star Wars. Because I don't care. I don't care about Agatha Harkness like that. She serves a particular role that's mainly services the supporting thing. And so it's like Madam Web, I'll wait to, this is one of those things that I will wait till stream. And that's how people need to do with certain things. When you talk about superhero fatigue or blah blah blah, you don't need to go to the theater unless it's part of your job or something like that. You don't need to go to the theater to go see a particular movie if you don't feel inclined to. You don't need to see every TV show if you don't feel so inclined to. But if you want to stay in a loop of all things, you do what I do when it comes to like the What If show. I never watched any of the What If stuff. I didn't watch Echo. Wasn't my jam. Don't really care. But I still want to be in the know because it might still service bits and pieces of what, in the overall grand scheme of things of the MCU. I check out other reviewers, or I just, if you don't care about it, you don't care about spoilers, you can just look it up. That way you are still in the know, but you didn't waste hours trying to, you know, follow along personally yourself. That's how I view it. That's just me. But anyway, what happens in Vegas? We got Joy, who is gone through a terrible breakup. Like the guy that she seemingly cares about, this guy named Mason, who obviously seemed like a self-absorbed, you know, Wall Street type of D-bag, and clearly, you know, it's like one of those run-of-the-mill rom-com things. You know, the cute girl comes in with a very successful you know, handsome boyfriend, but he doesn't appreciate her, and the dude kisses her on a forehead like he's her, you know, 3-year-old kid or something. And it's like, you know, I know it's done purposely, but it's just like kind of over the top. It's like no matter how neglectful a dude might be to a particular girl, he will still kiss her on the lips. And girls, if a guy does that, which is, you know, I can't fathom any guy doing that kind of thing. Maybe 1% of the 1% of guys who might just be that callous. That's a red flag. Get out of that situation real quick. I don't care how handsome he might look. Get the heck out of there. But she, you know, likes the seemingly idea of him because he comes in, he presents himself as the ideal man. And she plans his surprise birthday party, invites a lot of his their friends or whatever like that, even though we only see one friend of Joy's. He comes over to their apartment to do the surprise. Everybody's hiding and everything like that, and he picks that time to, like, you know, break up with her. And I gotta admit, it's a completely embarrassing moment. And I was like, oh my god, that is just terrible. And I can't imagine like living with that kind of shame where it's like Olivia, thanks for the follow. Can you imagine the level of like embarrassment? Like, you have to break up with this girl. And it's like, okay, the fault mostly on him, mostly because why would you break up with a girl on your birthday, assuming she's not planning anything, it was just gonna be you two? You can, at the very least, before y'all break up with her, you can probably get guaranteed sex from her, and that kind of thing, because it was your birthday. But it's like, because like I said, unless you're dealing with a extreme callous red flag of a man, you can at least give it a week after your birthday before all the bells and whistles, like, you know, die down and everything like that. Before you, it's like breaking up with a girl during the funeral of her, you know, dead grandma or something like that, and you picking that time to do it. It seems like idiotic to me. No man in general would consider doing it on that particular day. Not only any kind of special day, doing it on like a bland ass day, like, you know, like March 20th, the 22nd. No special day at all on that day, and just rip the band-aid off. Further past like the St. Patrick's Day thing, y'all hung out together, and way before tax season is over. It's like, you know, all that stuff is, you know, out the window. You can quickly move on to start your summer. But they broke up, and then running parallel, we meet Jack Jr., who is one of those you know, young playboy kind of dudes who's not taking his life seriously, kind of coasting a bit, but he's a very skilled carpenter working for his father at his business, and he's fooling around with his co-worker. Oh, thank you. I'm going to get it done tomorrow, so it's a bit nappy, but you know, I'm gonna finally get it all done. So next time I do like a review, it'll be a lot more nicer, because this is pretty long. So by the time it gets done, it's probably gonna be, you know, a little longer. Can't believe how long hair gets. But anyway, so it's like a funny little moment. No, I'm probably not gonna come. By the time I probably cut all this off, maybe when I'm, you know, in my elderly stage, when it's like all gray, that's when I probably will cut all off, probably by then. Because right now, this took work. A lot of people ask me if I'm ever gonna cut them. Like, nah, man. I started growing my hair during the pandemic, and by the time we got out of lockdown, it was already at that stage where I can get locks. So I feel like I might as well go all the way with it. Now I'm fully committed. And matter of fact, I kind of got this whole John Wick thing going on. I noticed that yesterday. It's like, man, I kind of got a John Wick thing going on right now. Anyway, so I like this little dialogue between I just don't call her Kristen Ritter. She only shows up in a couple of scenes. Her and Jack, you know, Jack suggested something, but she smartly knew better, because that's the thing. The girls not every girl, but some girls in this position would fall for this kind of guy, because he Ashton Kutcher falls for his feminine wiles or masculine wiles, and thinking like, oh, there might be something to this, or, you know, kid themselves thinking there might be something to this. But no, she peeped that immediately. No, I know you're the type of guy that won't take anything serious. You're not even boyfriend material, let alone husband material. So we're having like a nice little fun night, time together, and we'll just leave it at that. But I'm not going to take anything serious with you, because that's not. It's like smart, yes. It's like, no one's going to hold it against you for fooling around with a guy or whatever like that. But don't start kidding yourself thinking you're going to change him, or because he makes you feel a certain way, and you might delude yourself into thinking like, oh, I can change him to make him like a solid boyfriend and waste my time, even though he shows you who he is. And of course, we know in the movie he makes a change, but it's just like, yeah, smart on her part. But then he gets to work, and his dad is just fed up with his you know, coasting, laziness, not taking things seriously, and he points out like, you quit when things get hard kind of situation.
Phrasing.
But he because he's sitting there at the job watching I think it was like a basketball game with the other coworkers, and like his dad just had it. He challenged his dad to a one-on-one basketball game because apparently he'd been getting too many chances. Yeah, you can. It's like like my Twitch, YouTube, Insta, that kind of thing. It's like Twitter. That way you can follow me so you know when I'm live, when I'm streaming or doing like a review. So it's like he gave him so many chances before because he kind of like a slacker type of dude. Even though he's good at his job, he just not what's the word, applying himself, or he quits too easily. And the fact that when he's about to lose at the one-on-one basketball game, he just like, you know, wants to give up. And that's the, you know, the thing that he's trying to point out to his son. It's like when things get hard, you are ready to jump ship and quit. And so he kind of circumvents yeah, I find it if but there's a combo chance there too. So what was going on? So yeah, it's a nice commentary on the fact that, like, you know, guys, you know, certain guys gotta apply themselves. He chooses to do not because he's still like young and everything like that, but he's like, you know, don't want to take things too seriously. He finds things where they are. But now that, and it's funny, it's like, hey, yeah, this is New York, and he has like a big apartment, not like crazy big, but it's like, how much does he get paid to live in a bachelor pad looking thing, even for back in 2008? That's still kind of wild to me. And it's like, maybe not minimum wage, but it's like he's definitely not living, he's definitely not making enough to worth spend on a place like that. Do you consider what? Yes. What do I consider? What do I consider? What are you talking about? But it's just like chat or conversation. I mean, I'm following there. I mean, I might contact, I might respond here and there, but not like a full blown type of thing because I'm barely on Instagram like that anyway. You'll probably find me more so on Twitter more times than Instagram, to be frank. But so yeah, I was like confused, like how much his place would be, you know, a place like, you know, the amount of money he should be making would afford him an apartment maybe half the size of that. But you're like, maybe not in Manhattan, but because I'm not a New Yorker from Chicago, but I've heard stories about how Manhattan is crazy freaking expensive. So maybe not in Manhattan, definitely not in Soho, but something. I'm not a New Yorker, so I don't know what the areas or boroughs look like or how much they cost, but I definitely don't know how much they cost back then. I imagine it's way cheaper in 2008 or 7 than it is probably today. But it's just like, even for back then, I highly doubt you'd be able to afford a place like this. This is way too big. And I doubt your father would be paying for this. Especially consider how much of a slacker you are. That's just but anyway, these two individuals are bummed out. They talking with their respective friends, and they come up with the idea of going to Vegas to forget their troubles for like a weekend. So they, you know, buy themselves a ticket. They go into Vegas, and by the error of the system, the hotel booked them in the same, these two sets of people in the same apartment, and they managed to get not only an upgrade to two separate better rooms, but also coupons to discounted clubs and other stuff. So they end up because Joy is such a stickler for planning and everything like that. Jack makes a offhanded comment about that because he peeped that being a complete strangers, repeats the same thing that her ex said about always making a plan for a plan kind of situation. So she decides to like throw caution to the wind. They get drunk and start, partying, even though like the two of their respective friends cannot stand each other. It's very like Martin and Pam from Martin. It's like they constantly got like a argumentative spat going on. My DMs close. I don't know how my DMs close because I don't know how like who knows? I'll try to fix it. I'm not like a social media head, so I don't even know how to like make my DMs unclose. No, maybe that worked. But I ain't trying to get like crazy amount of back and forth for a lot of people. Just to be fair with you, because I don't want you thinking like I'm kind of an ass and I don't respond constantly or anything like that. I'm just like now I got social media head. I'll respond when I can, but not like a constant stream. But anyway, so I do gotta. Well, I want to get it. I don't want to get into it right now. I want to wait until further along when we get into the meat of the story. But they're partying way too hard. Then, come to wake up, they somehow got married. Like one of those, those little quick chapels in Vegas. Then the two realized it was a mistake, and it was like an amicable at first discussion. Like, yeah, realized a mistake. We were drunk. We kind of messed up. Then they kind of dragged it on too long. And Ashton Kutcher and Cameron Diaz can be very funny people, but I'm not sure what is up with the writing or maybe it's the directing. I'm not sure, but they tend to let a joke drag because like you don't want to and that's a lot of people's issues when it's certain comedies. You tend to let a joke drag far, drive it to the freaking ground, because he's just like, whoo-wee, yeah, a close one, yeah, I know, thank Lord Almighty, we're free at last. So it's like, okay, you're that joke is already way beyond too far, but you was already crossed that line a sentence or two ago. And it's like, God, it was funny up to a point. And then they started to get into like an argument about like, because they started to get a little disrespectful towards each other. But then he gives her like a coin to like try her luck, at the slots, and just not out of any kind of niceties, just for kind of like cherry, like here, like, maybe I'll try your better luck with this, kind of like just flippantly. So she used it, flipped the thing, and then they end up winning $3 million from that. And knowing they have to share this, check. And so they end up going back to New York and try to decide who gets the money. And then you get this judge who, and this gets very like Hallmark Christmas movie kind of gimmick, where like a judge was just give some kind of corny stipulation for these two, because but you know he has like a point, because it was a whole thing when people get married in Vegas and it's like, you know, not taking it seriously. And it was around that time where it's like, you know, gay marriages was like an issue. It's not even just like all the people from the LGBTQ plus community. It was just from the initial jump, the, you know, just gay people in general could not get married, but they're, you know, getting hitched and all this stuff. It was like a whole thing, and it was like a big deal. And then he makes an offhanded comment about like, see, it's not the gays that is like ruining marriages, and all those people like you. They're not, you know, taken seriously. And it's like, and he points out, and it's like, I like his dialogue, because like, given dating market today, this rings so true today, more so than it probably did even back then. Where it's like, because you look it up, 80% of divorces are initiated by women mostly, and it's usually, you know, frivolous little reasons. It's not like, oh, this dude kept, you know, hitting me over the side of the head because I, you know, burnt the meatloaf one time. You know, this is like, oh, I told him I didn't want the seat let up, so I'm not feeling no more, kind of thing. Yeah, I'm being hyperbolic, but it's just like that level of kind of like just frivolous little reasons. And it's just like, you know, when you're entering a marriage, even though it's like a Vegas type of marriage, it still technically counts. And it's like, you're not, you know, taking it serious. It's a contract, essentially. And it's probably the only kind of contract in this freaking country that people can just casually break. I mean, not casually, but just too easily break. So it's like, you know, it goes off this diatribe about, you know, I'm not sure. Well, if you watch like the videos like Legal Ego and every other lawyer who makes like their own video, YouTube video, they point out the fact that when you're in the court, the judge is like, he's king or queen of the castle. Wherever they say freaking goes. So you do your even for the lawyers, you do your due diligence to not undermine or talk crap or talk back or whatever to this judge, because where they set, it's going to be adhered to, and that's bottom freaking line. So you want to be on their good graces at all times. So he goes on this diatribe about how, like, you know, I married to my wife, when I said my vows, I meant them. Sure, there are days when she drives me freaking nuts. There are days I want to set her on fire. Not literally, because I know it's illegal, but I don't do it because I love her. And that's just like, that's the thing. And it's like, you know, sure, there's gonna be days it's not gonna be all sunshine and rainbows. I knew that, you know, in high school, and I wasn't married to no freaking guy, but I knew that is like, when I enter a marriage, it's serious. That means like, I'm not like trapped or anything like that, but it's like when we go to that next step, you know full well that, oh, this one is it. And I'm fully committed to this one because they meet all the parameters, at least enough of them, that makes me say, like, I'm gonna make a family with you, and I'm gonna die with you, and we're gonna make this thing, because marriage is work. And the judge points out to them, it's like, okay, you guys are going to stick it out for the next 6 months. If you're not, you know, before that time, if you two are not like trying to make it work, then I'm going to tie up all that money in litigations, so that way you won't even see that money at all. But if you try to make it work and you make it through the 6 months and you still want the divorce by that point, then that and then I will split the money evenly between you two. And so Judge says like, okay, do either one of you have an apartment? You know, given the fact that Joy just broke up with her dude that she shared a place with, she had to live with Jack. So they have to try to make this work. So Tipper and Joy, gather all Joy's stuff to help move, at least enough of it to move over to Jack's place. And there's a kind of funny moment where Jeffrey, I think it's the best friend, Jeffrey tries to kiss Tipper in a hallway. He tries to lean in because that would have been a cliche thing in most rom-coms where the best friends of the respective characters cannot stand each other, but by the end of it, that you see them, like, or at least halfway through, end up hooking up. But I appreciated this movie on the fact that no, these two don't not end up hooking up. They're they just, the best friends characters, they don't see nothing to each other, and that is that. So like, kudos for not going to that cliche. So that's what's up. So throughout the first month or so, they are going to like those they've been going to like those the marriage counselor played by Queen Latifah, and she's not falling for any of their crap either, even though they tried to like play it up like, oh yeah, we totally love each other. And it wasn't until they actually started to like vent their frustrations like an actual couple, not like this exaggerated, but it's like after the second go around, she points out, see, now that is a marriage, where it's like, yeah, you're honest with your feelings that there are things that's going to drive you freaking nuts about one another, but it makes you all the stronger for it because iron sharpens iron kind of situation. But the first several weeks, they just driving each other nuts, and constantly condescendingly talk with each other. It's like he's trying to use the bathroom, but she's being petty by taking up all the time in the world to do her hair, knowing he has to pee. So he ends up, which I'm not sure why he doesn't go to a neighbor or go downstairs to an alley to use it or anything like that. No, he chose to pee, and granted it's his own sink, but still though, I don't even fathom doing that at all. He chose to pee in his own kitchen sink, and he says like, oh, by the way, it's your turn to do dishes, honey. It's like, oh my god. Just the level of pettiness each other try to do to each other is almost slapsticky in a way. I guess that's where the comedy comes in, where they trying to like annoy the crap out of each other, but they can't do anything that might compromise the relationship. And then she ends up like condescendingly talk down to him about like leaving the seat down for her, and just out of sheer pettiness, which I kind of respect, he while she was at work takes the not while she was at work, but like when she was sleeping, he unhooks the toilet seat, so when she goes to the bathroom and she's not paying attention, she ends up falling in the toilet, which is kind of funny. It's like, I kind of respect that, just the sheer childishness out of it. But the constant back and forth. One time he and his friend takes the bathroom door off his hinges completely, so that way she has no reason to lock him out of his own bathroom whenever he needs to go to use the bathroom. But then the friends ends up finding out about this legal loophole about a situation kind of like theirs, where a couple comes into a large sum of money together after they got recently married, but the one party gets all of it because like one person was cheating. So they are trying to cause one another to step out of the marriage. She sends all the hottest, sluttiest friends that her and her friend know to the house to try to seduce Jack, while Jack gets Jeffrey to get all their guy friends to come over. Now it turns into this one huge party, and all the while, all these hot women, it's like try to seduce him and grab him and touch on him and stuff like that, which any weaker man will fall prey to. That is just like a tough. That'll be tough, and it's like like back away, harpies. Get like just like you get some spray like back. The power of Christ compels you, bitch. And like get back up. Meanwhile, by the flip of that, Jack tells all the guys to completely ignore Joy. So while she's trying to talk with some other dude to try to get like a better class of dude or whatever like that, she's getting no play and he's not offering any play. So it's pretty much like a stalemate at this point. And they end up sneaking off into the bathroom because everything's getting too crazy and they just need some moments peace. And Jack points out of the fact that Joey's still wearing the engagement ring Mason gave to her, and she just like still probably had lingering hopes that they'll get back together. Cools on the fact that this dude wasn't good for her anyway. Things started taking a bit of a turn where, well, we'll get into that. Joy steps it up further by calling Jack's parents over to have dinner at his apartment, which they never been to before, which I find it weird because like, did you not help him move in or what? I don't know. So they end up inviting Joy to this not family reunion, but some kind of event at the park where Jack normally coached like a little league team kind of thing, and Joy sees the fact that how good he is with the kids and how funny he's being, and this whole entire different side of him. And Jack tries to meets up with Mason to give back the engagement ring unknowingly to Joy to try to get and big up Joy, like, oh, she's doing great and everything like that. And it's like trying to convince Mason to take her back so that way he doesn't have to deal with her. But then Joy's boss, who is trying to figure out which between Joy and Chong, which one deserves this promotion that he's offering, but he hasn't decided yet. So he offers both of them to bring their, because he finds out they're both married, so bring their significant others to this work retreat so he can get to know them and see like how a true family person that they are. Joy decides to bring Jack along, and he just is the life of the party. Everybody's loving him. He's like just likable dude. And this is where they are like really starting to see another side of themselves, where they get past that argumentative stage when they see themselves as people. And there's a moment where Jack starts bigging her up throughout this party just to make make her shine in front of her boss. And he told like, show him the bottle trick. It's like, what's the bottle trick? Because he sees Joy at Vegas using a knife to pop the cork off of a champagne bottle. It's just like a cool little party trick. She does the same thing here, and she becomes like the life of a party and everything like that, because the boss always thought she was like got a stick up her butt the whole entire time, but she, you know, she showed her side of her so that she can let her hair down, which I gotta, you know, compliment the movie on this, is where it's like a mark of a good relationship shown in a movie is where like these two people who are like kind of stuck in their ways and they kind of like rub off on each other, not in a sexual way, but you know what I mean. And so Joy can start letting her head down and be a little looser, while she in turn started, you know, show Jack that he can take some initiative, because it's the fact that he lacked confidence in a way, because he didn't bother to play at the craps table or really gamble, because he has like a issue of confidence where it's like, I know I'm gonna lose, so why bother playing? But am my stream still going? Sorry. It seems like the thing is stopped. Am my stream still going? Sorry guys, 1 second here. Yes, I'm live. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because my live stream time thing is like stuck at 15:01. I'm not sure what's up with that. Hopefully it's not like a big deal. Anyway, so where was I? Yeah, it's like, you know, a mark of a good relationship, you know, they rub off on each other. Jack, you know, is at the retreat. There's like a craps table, and she's like, okay, it's your turn. It's like he's whispering to her, it's like, you know, I can't really do this, and she's like, no, I believe in you. And that's probably something that like, most probably people, especially guys, might need to hear that from a girl. It's like, you know, I believe in you. So he throws the dice. He ends up like, you know, winning the game. You know, gets a 7. They end up hooking up that night. But then things turn when she finds out about what Jack did with the whole ring situation, when Mason comes to her disheveled for some freaking reason, like he lost all his money and gotten homeless or something, even though it's like, you just unbutton your shirt and your hair's a little off. Like, you know, what's all of that? He's trying like, I want you back, and he's still saying stuff like it's all about him rather than really beseeching to her. The 6 months is up, and realizing what Jack did, she just like said what needs to be said, so they're gonna walk away with the money evenly. But she just doesn't want nothing to do with him, nor with Mason. She ends up quitting her job for some freaking reason when she realized like she's not happy with what she was doing. And it's like, what? Then Jack gets an earful from his father, Jack Sr., about like, she was the best thing that ever happened to you. Maybe I should, you know, utilizing the same logic that was spoken to when they was having dinner together. It's like, you know, maybe I should tell you the opposite so you can actually do it, kind of thing. I was like, that's a like the lowest of the low type of pep talk I ever heard in these type of films. And the mom is sure ain't, you know, offering any kind of comforting 2 cents to the subject. Jack is starting, you know, shape up a bit. He's actually back at the job, actually using the money to actually starting his own carpeting business. So thanks to Joy giving him the confidence that he needs to actually put in some serious ambition into his work. He figures out where Joy is, and they end up making up at this, you know, lighthouse area. I don't know if it's like a real place in New York, but what is it? Fire something, Fire Island, New York. And they end up making up. He actually proposed to her legitimately this time, and then they end up together. So the movie ends that way. It's an okay film, but I'm shocked it made so much money that it did. I'm shocked. But you know, you got charming, you know, actors in Cameron Diaz and Ashton Kutcher, who were very hot. Well, not were, they still are hot commodities, but they were on the top of their game in the mid 2000s. It was a little bit before Cameron Diaz took a bit of a break in from filming for a while. It's only like fairly recently got back into acting when Jamie Foxx was this is before Jamie Foxx had as like a health issue, but there was filming a thing that she was in, and that's something it's the first time in a long while that she was acting in something. But anyway, yeah, I mean, they're charming actors, but all in all, it's like the results, the premise is decent, and the whole title about what happens in Vegas, based off the "what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas" phrase, is a cool idea. But it's like the whole thing with the judge, where it's like, I don't know how realistically a judge will actually implement this cliche, folksy type of punishment, and that it's like, I don't know, it's not realistic. I'm not sure, even though I can fathom a judge having the power to do it, but actually, like, you know, in real life, really, I don't think so. I'm not sure. But anyway, let me know what you guys think of what happens in Vegas, and I will see you guys next time. Hopefully this is not this whole stream is still captured, but I'll see you guys soon.